Everyone, chloralkali process, is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Then who will explain me? Vishnu, can you explain me chloralkali process? What is it?
Ma'am, when electric current is passed through the brine solution, that is sodium chloride, it forms sodium hydroxide and chlorine gas.
That is called as chloralkali. Why it is called chloralkali process?
Because chlorine gas is produced and sodium hydroxide, which is an alcohol.
Okay. So the reaction, the electrolysis of brine solution, that is concentrated aqueous sodium chloride, is through this current is passed, then it produces alkali, that is sodium hydroxide, hydrogen gas and chlorine gas is formed. So therefore this reaction is called as chlor-alkali process. Now here whatever the compounds we got in this reaction, that is we got sodium hydroxide, hydrogen and then chlorine gas. These also have much more commercial uses. So these substances have more commercial use and which is obtained from sodium chloride. So therefore it is very useful. And in this part, we are again learning the uses of these three substances itself. So sodium hydroxide, use of sodium hydroxide, where we use the sodium hydroxide. So do you know wherever we are using it? Where we use sodium hydroxide? It is used in making synthetic fibers. Sodium hydroxide is used in preparation of synthetic fibers. Degreasing of metals. It is also used in degreasing. So that means if on the metal, if grease is present, so degreasing that, cleaning the metals. Sodium hydroxide is used. It is again used. Any other places you know sodium hydroxide used? Anyone knows? It is very commonly used. It is also used in making soaps and detergents. Used to prepare soaps, detergents.
Petroleum?
Petroleum, no, petroleum is not, we are not preparing it, petroleum. Petroleum is a fossil fuel that is obtained by nature. We are not preparing it. It can be used in refining of it. Use in bleaches or dyes also we are using this. The next few uses only you have to remember. It was there earlier, now from NCERT. I don't think so. It is given now in the new book. Chlorine gas. Uses of chlorine is used to prepare, mostly it is in bleaching powder. To prepare bleaching powder. As a disinfectant. In cleaning the swimming pools or drinking water also can be killed because it has a property of disinfecting. That is, it has a property of killing the germs. So therefore it is used as disinfectant and as a bleaching powder to bleach the wood pulp or bleach paper, even bleach clothes. Chlorine is used, bleaching powder is used, and bleaching powder actually the storage unit of chlorine. Actual property bleaching powder performs, that is actually because of the chlorine gas. And bleaching powder is actually considered as a storage of chlorine. So when bleaching powder reacts with water, chlorine gas is given out. And that chlorine gas performs a function what the bleaching powder does. Uses of hydrogen. It is used in making fertilizers. Used in preparation of fertilizer. With ammonia, it combines and fertilizer is prepared. Second, it is used as fuel. Rocket fuel generally. Hydrogen gas is highly exothermic. That is actually the high calorific value hydrogen gas has. So therefore, it is also used as a fuel. Again, it is in production of hydrochloric acid. Used in preparation of HCl. Again, it is used in hydrogenation of oils. Hydrogenation of oils, that is converting oil into ghee. That you will learn in carbon compounds chapter. Hydrogenation of vegetable oils. Hydrogen is used. Okay, these are the few uses. That's enough now for you. So you need to know the uses of these three compounds, because ultimately these are indirectly sodium chloride is used in using these always, because from these three compounds comes from the sodium chloride. Commercial preparation of hydrogen or chlorine or sodium hydroxide is done by using sodium chloride only, and because of that all these uses indirectly sodium chloride is used. So write down these uses.
Ma'am,
Yeah.
ma'am, in this chlorine gas, you told that about that bleaching powder, right? The
Yeah.
chlorine is used in bleaching. Ma'am, I didn't understand that point.
Yeah, the next part is a bleaching powder only. We have to start explain. I will explain there.
Okay.
So you need to know what is bleaching powder actually.
Ma'am, can you scroll down a bit?
Done. NCERT book now it is I think so not given. You have the NCERT book in front of you?
Yes, ma'am.
It is after the this one diagram is given of electrolysis of brine. After that is it written? Anything uses? I think so they have taken out. Yes? It's not written, no? These uses? Okay, it was there earlier. Now I think so they have taken removed.
Small brackets.
Yeah, small brackets 1, 2 uses has been written. Earlier it was a full paragraph on that.
Ma'am, it's directly the bleaching powder thing is given.
Yeah, it will come directly. Bleaching powder is there now. Now after that, the second salt. First, we have seen sodium chloride. Sodium chloride preparation using uses of sodium chloride. We have seen these three production of these three important compounds. And then next, the bleaching powder also. Indirectly, in preparation of bleaching powder, sodium chloride is used. How? All the compounds further, three compounds at least, for the salts what we are studying. So indirectly, sodium chloride is used in preparation of those three salts. So we have to see the second salt as bleaching powder. Now, what is bleaching powder? What is its chemical name, chemical formula, preparation, and finally the uses of it. Bleaching powder is calcium oxychloride. The formula is CaOCl2. So bleaching powder is chemical name is calcium oxychloride. Formula is CaOCl2. This is the formula. So it is prepared by preparation. It is prepared by passing chlorine gas through dry slack lime. Dry slacked lime. So that is slack lime is formula for slack lime.
CaOH.
CaOH twice in the solid state. This is
Yeah.
lime water. Lime water is in the aqueous state, and it is in a solid state. It is same formula. It is dry, and it is when the chlorine gas is passed through it, it will form bleaching powder CaOCl2 plus water molecules are formed. So this is bleaching powder. Now uses of bleaching powder. For what purpose we are using this bleaching powder? What is the main function of, what do you mean by bleach? What do you mean by bleach?
Does it mean cleaning?
No. Anyone knows bleach?
Ma'am,
Yes.
I'm removing the color.
Who told this?
Ma'am,
Yes, Arvind.
I'm removing the color.
Removing the colored pigments. Actually, the colored components.
Ma'am, it's a
means
white thing
white.
here.
Converting colored, removing the colors, discolorizing any substance is called as bleaching. So that means when we bleach clothes, it is generally written on the, whenever you purchase the clothes, on that tag is always present, and that tag it is always written, do not bleach. So actually, what do you mean by bleach here? Bleach is done for only white clothes to make it, keep it white. If there are yellow stains, so those stains can be removed by bleaching. Bleach cannot be used for colored clothes because bleach react with colored clothes and discolorizes it. So it removes the color. That happens when this calcium chloride, calcium oxychloride, bleaching powder, when dissolved in water, or even in some other substances like sodium hydroxide also. So when it combines, it will gives out chlorine gas, and this chlorine gas combines with colored pigment. The color is due to the pigments or color components are there. So those with those color components, chlorine combines and convert into some other form. So due to that, that dyes do not have the particular color. The same color will not be there. Those get converted into some other form. So when many colors combine together, it is forming a, it is giving a color. Now color components are coming together. So they are giving, imparting a one particular color. Now those color components are get converted into some other form. So those are actually the chemicals. So those chemicals gets converted into some other chemicals due to reaction with chlorine. So then you cannot see the same color again. So this is what happened in bleaching. So that happens by combining with chlorine. So this bleaching powder, actually whatever the function of bleaching powder is to bleach the clothes. And that bleaching clothes is not the function of this full bleaching powder. It is actually the function of chlorine gas. So therefore, this bleaching powder is considered as the storage unit of chlorine, because it, instead of storing chlorine gas, which is much more difficult, storing any gas was a difficult task. So instead of that, if it is converted into some compound solid state, so then it will be easier to transport and carry. So therefore, chlorine gas is main function of the chlorine gas is to bleach the clothes. So instead of using direct gas, we are using its compound bleaching powder. Which this bleaching powder, when combines with water, releases chlorine gas, and which actually performs the function of bleaching. Is that clear? Is this clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, Srijita, clear your doubt?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, so bleaching powder bleaches the clothes. That means that discolorizes it. So it is used in paper industries. So at the time of preparing paper, paper is prepared from the wood pulp. Wood pulp has greenish color, turbid color, just like a cell sap. It is very turbid color, very dirty color, actually greenish dirty color. But you see the papers are completely white. So this happens when that wood pulp is bleached. So in paper, bleaching wood pulp is bleached with the help of this bleaching powder. So first use of this bleaching powder is bleaching wood pulp in paper industry. Uses first bleaching wood pulp in paper industry. In laundry, also we are using it to bleach clothes. In laundry, even in textile factories, textile industries. The synthetic clothes are bleached. Before dyeing them, they have to be bleached. So whatever the initial color was there, that should be removed. And then the particular dye, it has been dyed in different colors. So for that thing, bleaching powder is used. Third, bleaching powder is a source of chlorine. So, and chlorine used for disinfection. So it is used to disinfect water, drinking water, or swimming pools, as it has a property of killing germs. It kills germ. And the fourth, one more very important property it possesses, that is it has oxygen. So when it combines with oxygen, everything get decomposed. So substances move separate from each other. And then oxygen also gets separated. That means it is a source of oxygen also. Hence it works as an oxidizing agent. So it works as oxidizing agent. Strong oxidizing agent, because it easily gives out oxygen gas. So therefore it works as a strong oxidizing agent. Okay, so these are the uses you have to remember. So in this part, question is asked, that is, what is the chemical name of this compound? What is the chemical formula? Its preparation, how it is prepared, and the uses of it. 3-mark question is asked in this. Sorry. Yeah, right from this part. Completed?
Yes, ma'am.
Have we finished? The next salt. Now here, how the sodium chloride is useful in preparation of this? How the sodium chloride is used indirectly in this use? It is not used directly, it is indirectly used. Can you tell how?
Chlorine is made from NaCl.
Yes. So in the preparation of chlorine, sodium chloride is used. And that sodium chloride only used here, that's chlorine gas, which is used from sodium chloride, which is prepared from sodium chloride, is used in preparation of bleaching powder. So it is indirectly used, right? Now next one is now here direct use of sodium chloride. It is the next part is baking soda. Next salt we have to learn is a baking soda. Third salt we have to learn is baking soda. That is sodium hydrogen carbonate. Sodium hydrogen carbonate is sodium hydrogen carbonate. NaHCO3 is the chemical formula of baking soda, which we are using in kitchen also. Its preparation. It is prepared by combining sodium chloride with water, carbon dioxide, and ammonia. So when ammonia is mixed with sodium chloride along with water and carbon dioxide together, this is a commercial preparation. So in this way, the compound obtained is NaHCO3 plus NH4Cl, ammonium chloride and sodium hydrogen carbonate, which is a baking soda, is prepared by this way. The sodium chloride in water, aqueous sodium chloride, combines with carbon dioxide and ammonia, and it prepares sodium hydrogen carbonate and ammonium chloride. So this way the baking soda is prepared. Now its uses, where we use it. Where we use? In baking industry we use it mostly. Where here, what is the main use? So main use in the baking industry is to make cakes and breads fluffier, spongy or fluffier. It makes spongy. The breads and cakes will become spongy because of this addition of baking soda. So what is the main reason behind it? The reason behind it is, anyone has idea or interested in cooking?
Ma'am, it produces carbon dioxide.
Okay.
So then the carbon dioxide not able to escape. So then makes the breads or cakes fluffy.
So here, whenever what happens, it has a main property. Baking soda has a very important property. That is when baking soda heated strongly, when we heat it strongly, then it produces sodium carbonate, water, and carbon dioxide gas. Now this carbon dioxide gas remain trapped inside the batter. So when bread batter or cake batter when we produce, and when we heat it, at that time the carbon dioxide is released, and that carbon dioxide bubbles will trap between the batter. Now that batter, what happen? When the carbon dioxide is present, so one place the bubble of carbon dioxide is present, and around that, surrounding that, there is a batter. So when heating takes place, that carbon dioxide bubble remains same position and the remaining part solidifies. And now when solidification takes place, that holes are remain there wherever the carbon dioxide is present. So there all those places, this one holes are formed, and after that carbon dioxide moves out through that holes. When we take it out, the carbon dioxide moves out. But earlier, due to the presence of carbon dioxide, the holes are formed. So that presence of that holes makes the cakes or breads fluffier. When you see the breads, you will see there's many holes on it. It will not be the full plain batter, you will not see. You will see many holes in between that. So that holes is due to the trapping of this carbon dioxide gas. So carbon dioxide gas traps between the batter solidifies, leaving behind the bubble of that carbon dioxide, makes the holes, and because of the presence of that holes, air moves in and makes it spongy. So sponginess is created due to the accumulation of carbon dioxide gas. The same thing happens in the fermentation process also. But in case of fermentation, that is naturally respiration is going on inside the batter. So inside the batter, what happens? Yeast is there. So that yeast respiring anaerobically and releases carbon dioxide gas. So that carbon dioxide traps between the batter and makes it more and more fluffier, spongier. The same thing happen in this case. This is an instant process. Fermentation is a slow, long process. And here this happens because instantly. So we are adding baking soda, and when we bake a cake, immediately the carbon dioxide is produced, remain trapped between the batter and forms the air holes. And due to that presence of that air holes, it makes the cake spongier. Is it clear? So many other places also we are using cakes in kitchen for crispy pakoras, or even in making dhokla, we are using baking soda in that. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
This function is clear, everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now one more thing. Generally, in cakes, we don't use baking soda. Instead, we use baking powder. We generally don't directly use baking soda. We use baking powder. Now, what is this baking powder? Baking powder is a mixture of baking soda and any mild edible acid. That is generally tartaric acid. Tartaric acid is used in it. So baking powder which we get in market, so that is actually the mixture of baking soda and any mild edible acid that we can consume it. So that is mostly it is used tartaric acid or citric acid. Most commonly tartaric acid is present in it. Now what is here also baking soda is only used, but generally bakers won't prefer using baking soda directly. Instead they use baking powder. Baking powder is the mixture of baking soda as well as one edible acid, tartaric acid. Can you tell me why we are using it? Meghna, can you tell? Why though people prefer baking powder instead of baking soda? I told you both the methods. The function of baking, that's making things spongier. Baking soda is only the main function. Then what is the use of adding acid? Meghna, can you tell? Yes, Meghna? No, you can type them. Are you telling? No, it's not to add flavor. Pranika, do you know? Pranika, Yuvika, Vismay, anyone of you know the answer?
Ma'am, can I try?
Yes, wait, these people don't tell them, yes?
Okay,
Yeah,
ma'am.
fine, Shubha. Tell.
Ma'am, I'm not sure, but I think it is for.
Mic is not working.
Ma'am, am I audible right now?
Yes.
Ma'am, I think it is for lightening the texture of the cake.
No.
Okay, ma'am.
No. Anyone? Shreya? Both Shreyas? Answer is in front of
Ma'am.
you. Somewhat you have to think. Yes, Santosh?
Ma'am, could I answer?
Can I try?
Wait 1 second. Who told? Shreya or Khushi?
This is because,
Santosh.
is it like,
Yes, Santosh.
Ma'am, could I
is
answer?
it because baking powder is a weak base and tartaric acid is a weak acid, so it neutralizes?
Whom? It will neutralize which substance? Santosh, it neutralizes what?
Baking soda.
If baking soda is neutralized, then how it will functions? It will not work out. Yes, someone. Khushi or
The
Shreya?
baking soda.
No. Baking soda, if it is get neutralized, then baking soda will not work out. It will not
Does it
function
neutralize?
about this one. One second, Ronak. I know that you know. Yes, finally I will come to you. Yes, Khushi or Shreya, someone was there. Who was that? Wants to tell? Answer or Janvi? Who was that? Yes. Just before Santosh, someone wants to tell the answer.
Ma'am?
Yeah, Khushi.
Ma'am, is it because it's edible?
No.
Like you've reduced
Yeah, it is
mild edible
edible,
acid?
right? Yes, it is edible, but what is the function of that? Why we are using that one? That's what I'm asking. Why? What is the
Maybe
need?
direct, ma'am, I'm not sure, but I'm telling, maybe direct application of baking soda is not that good.
So that's what it is there for. That's the reason baking powder is used. No, why it is not good? That is what I'm asking.
Because it's
That I don't
acidic?
know.
No. Yes, Vaibhav.
Ma'am, I think it causes the batter to rise more.
No. No.
Ma'am, is it because water is produced?
No.
Ma'am,
Water is already we are adding in it. Yes,
Is it
Nainika?
because of sodium
Is it
bicarbonate?
because the baking soda makes the cake more porous?
No.
Is it because of presence of only sodium bicarbonate? So tartaric acid neutralizes it.
No. Somewhat closer, but not proper. Yes, Ranak, now this you can tell the answer.
Ma'am, does it neutralize sodium carbonate to release more carbon dioxide?
It's actually when you have seen in front of you, that is baking soda, when heated, it gives out sodium carbonate, water and carbon dioxide. So water and carbon dioxide moves out. What about sodium carbonate? Which will remain in the solution? And in that, what is the nature of sodium carbonate?
Basic.
It is basic, and if remain in the solution batter, how the cake tastes like?
Bitter.
It
It
tastes
is bitter.
bitter. It is basic, so it is bitter. So cakes become bitter in taste. So to remove that bitterness, that is a sodium carbonate, is a weak base. So we need a weak acid to neutralize that produced sodium carbonate. Main function of making the cake fluffier by the production of carbon dioxide is the baking soda. But after that, what happened? Baking soda, when heated, it produces sodium carbonate. Sodium carbonate is basic in nature and remain in the cake batter. So which makes the cake taste bitter. To remove this bitterness, tartaric acid come into act. It will combine with that sodium carbonate and neutralizes it. So when it neutralizes, then there will not be any base or not be any acid. So will not be there will be a neutral test. So that is there will be the test of sugar, whatever you have added, that test will be there. It will not test bitter. To remove the bitterness, tartaric acid is added.
Ma'am,
Yes.
so in the baking industry, they don't use baking soda.
Baking soda is small quantity, but baking powder is a larger quantity.
Ma'am,
Baking
but it
powder is
also
only
gives
generally used. Yes.
But it also makes the cake more fluffier, no, ma'am, because it produces more carbon dioxide.
Yeah, and after that, when the no, when acid combines with sodium carbonate, yes, again carbon dioxide is produced. Some more amount of carbon dioxide is produced. So it again makes more and more fluffier. Okay, so question is asked for 3 marks. Name the powder used to make the cake fluffier. Write its ingredients and write the function of each component. So name the powder which is used to make cakes fluffier or spongier is baking powder. The ingredients of the constituents of baking powders are baking soda and any mild edible acid, that is tartaric acid. And then the third question is, what are the main function of those ingredients or those components? So baking soda, so you have to write the baking soda when heated strongly produces carbon dioxide gas, which traps between the batter and gives the spongy texture. And the second one, tartaric acid. Tartaric acid remove bitterness of the cake by neutralizing sodium carbonate. It combines with sodium carbonate, neutralizes it, and removes bitterness. Is it clear? So here at the end, you need to write it down as tartaric acid, function of tartaric acid.
Ma'am?
Yes.
Ma'am, so this baking powder, like in exams, if you're supposed to write, can we also write it is used as a leavening agent?
Leavening agent, what is that?
No, like in sense, like only because of this only water and carbon dioxide goes out, right?
Yeah.
So, like, I mean, so what? How do we write that?
What you want to write it? You have
Like,
to write it as carbon dioxide. It releases carbon dioxide.
oh, okay. Sorry, I misheard you. My like connection is a bit bad.
Okay. So tartaric acid is used to neutralize sodium carbonate, which produced and removes the bitterness. So for that function, the tartaric acid is very, very important. Or instead of the tartaric acid, if anyone don't have the baking soda, if you check with the baking powder, if you can check with your mother, that is if the baking powder is not there, she can use you are doing it. You can use baking soda and curd or vinegar generally are available in our kitchen. So generally in cakes, curd or vinegar also can be used in place of baking powder. If baking powder is not available, you can make that mixture at home by mixing sodium carbonate and curd, or sodium carbonate, that is baking soda, and vinegar, because curd also consists of lactic acid and the vinegar consists of acetic acid. So we can use that. By that mixture also can be used in baking cakes. Is it clear? Then the next second use of this, it is used as, you have learned earlier, you have done this one, baking soda, where we have used it
Antacids
as an antacids.
for relief of pain and irritation during acidity.
Yes, to give relief from pain and irritation due to acidity. And the third, it is also used in soda acid fire extinguisher. It is also used in soda acid fire extinguisher. These are the soda acid fire extinguishers, are the older ones. So in earlier time, soda acid fire extinguishers were used. Nowadays we are using the small fire extinguishers, which actually consist of the solid dry ice. It is consist of mainly, for all fire extinguishers, carbon dioxide is used, because carbon dioxide has a property of extinguishing fire. So carbon dioxide is used. Earlier days, dry ice was not used. Instead of that, soda acid was used. So what is soda acid fire extinguisher? It is a container in which the acid is present, soda is present, that container fully, that cylinder completely filled with soda, that is baking soda. And in one of the small container, the glass container inside that, inside the cylinder, there is a one glass container in which concentrated sulfuric acid is present. So whenever at the time of fire break, that has to be shaken properly. We have to shake that cylinder properly so that that glass container inside that glass chamber is there, that will break and the acid will come out. It will combine with soda, that is baking soda. So you have seen that is soda combines with acid. What it will form? When soda combines with acid, soda, that is a baking soda, that is sodium hydrogen carbonate. You have seen the reaction. When sodium hydrogen carbonates combines with acid, what will happen?
Salt plus carbon dioxide plus water.
Salt plus carbon dioxide plus water is formed. So carbon dioxide is released, and that carbon dioxide when comes out, it will be fired, means under pressure. If it is fired outside, means it's taken out, it will cover a larger area over the fire, and this will extinguishes it. So used in soda acid fire extinguishers, we are using baking soda. It is in these cylinders, we are using baking soda and concentrated sulfuric acid is used. So when baking soda, that is NaHCO3, combines with H2SO4, it produces Na2SO4 plus H2O plus CO2 gas. So this carbon dioxide gas moves out and extinguish the fire. So for this purpose, we are using it in soda acid fire extinguisher. So sodium carbonate is again considered as a storage of carbon dioxide. Is this clear? All these three uses are clear? Everyone, is that clear?
Ma'am,
Yes. Yes,
Ma'am.
Monica?
could you explain the third one? I just got disconnected again.
Soda acid fire extinguisher. Soda acid fire extinguisher has two components. One is the soda, that is baking soda, and the second one is the sulfuric acid. Sulfuric acid, we have seen when acid combines with sodium carbonate or any metal carbonate, it produces, what it will produce?
Metal salts, water, and carbon dioxide.
Metal salt, water, and carbon dioxide. So in that, carbon dioxide is produced. So when carbon dioxide comes out, so what will happen? It will
extinguish the fire.
Carbon dioxide is only used for extinguishing fire.
Yes.
So therefore, that reaction is done, but it is a one-time use. So when it is used one time, again, we have to refill it. Nowadays, refilling is not needed. So you can see this is a cylinder structure. So inside this, the full thing is a sodium bicarbonate solution is present. Sodium bicarbonate, that is baking soda, sodium hydrogen carbonate. That cylinder is completely filled with the solution of baking soda. And then inside this, there is a one glass container in which sulfuric acid is present. When you press a knob, so this sulfuric acid moves out easily. So when we here, there are different types of solutions are there. When we press the knob over it forcefully, this sulfuric acid comes out and combines with sodium carbonate, and the carbon dioxide is produced. So that carbon dioxide comes out through this nozzle. Through these nozzle, it will come out and extinguishes the fire. Okay, so for this soda acid fire extinguisher, soda and acid will give you the name. Soda comes from baking soda and acid comes from sulfuric acid, concentrated sulfuric acid. Is it clear? Yes.
Ma'am, baking soda is a salt or is it a base?
Which one? Sodium carbonate. Baking
Yeah.
soda is basic in nature. It is a salt, but it is basic salt.
Okay.
It is a salt, but it is basic salt. Yesterday we have seen the types of salts.
Yes, ma'am.
Acidic salt, basic salt. So out of that, it is basic.
Okay.
Ma'am, can you scroll?
Yes, I'm scrolling it up. Most commonly asked question in baking soda. Completed?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, then next salt is washing soda. Formula is Na2CO3 dot 10H2O. Sodium carbonate decahydrate. Sodium carbonate decahydrate is the name. So what do you mean by the 10H2O? Can you tell? I'm explaining the first chapter. Yes, Srijita?
10 water molecules in the aqueous state.
No, it is not aqueous. These crystals, these are the dry salt. This is a dry salt.
Ma'am,
Yes?
ma'am, is it the water of sodium carbonate?
No. Yes.
Crystallized.
Precipitate.
No precipitate.
Crystalline form.
It is in the crystalline form. So what is that water molecule called as?
It's hydrated sodium carbonate.
Yes, Meghna, right. It is hydrated sodium carbonate, but actually what? This water molecules, these number of water molecules surround sodium carbonate, one molecule of sodium carbonate, which makes its crystal. So which converts it into crystal form. And this water molecule is called as water of crystallization. Water of crystallization. So due to presence of these many water molecule along with a one molecule of sodium carbonate gives it crystal structure. So sodium carbonate, 10 molecules are required for a one molecule of sodium carbonate to make it crystal. So this is a transparent crystal. In sodium carbonate, when the water is not available, then it is a white powdered firm salt. The sodium carbonate, initially it is a white powder. When we add water into it, it becomes dry. It will not be aqueous. It is a crystal salts only. It is a crystalline salt. It looks like white salt only. It is white salt, as you see as a detergent. So this is small crystals you can see. So this crystalline form is due to the presence of this water molecule, and this is dry. It will not be, by seeing from externally, when we see, we cannot say that it has a water molecule. So it is wet. It is not a wet salt. It is a dry salt. But for converting into crystal form, thus binding of that water molecule with the sodium carbonate is necessary. Otherwise, it will remain in the powdered form. Okay. So this is unhydrated. Are you able to see?
Yes, ma'am.
This is powdered form. You cannot see here crystals. Both are the same actually, but here you are not able to see the crystals. It is a powdered white powder, but in this case it is crystals. These are crystals. You can see the crystals here, and you can see here, if it is this one, it is just like a wheat flour, anything flour, the powdered form. White powder it is, and it is in the crystal form. So this is the main difference between having water and not having water. In the second picture, the water is not available, water is not present. The same compound, sodium carbonate, it is in the powdered form, and here you can see it is in a crystal form due to presence of water molecule. So this water molecules are called as water of crystallization. So the salt which have this water of crystallization are called as hydrated salts. In the first chapter also, one hydrated salt you have seen. What is that?
Green vitriol.
Green vitriol, right? Green vitriol, that is a iron sulfate, FeSO4.7H2O, right? And then the second one, it is copper sulfate also. Copper sulfate also, it is in the crystalline form. So copper sulfate, when you see the normal copper sulfate, which is white in color, powdered white powder form, and when it is present in the crystal form, it is a blue color crystals. Okay, so all these are due to the presence of this water of crystallization. Presence of water of crystallization, only the substance becomes crystals. So here copper sulfate, you can see the copper sulfate part. So copper sulfate is actually the unhydrated copper sulfate is white powder. As soon as you add water, you can see the color change in between. So it turns into blue color. So it is hydrated form. And now if it is kept it for some duration, you will see the crystal of copper sulfate. The same powder, if we keep it for one duration with adding water, you will get the crystals of copper sulfate, which is blue in color. Now here looking like this, looking towards this crystal, can you say water is there?
No.
It is completely a dry crystal, but water is present inside this. Now how to say that is water is present? How to check that water is present in that crystal? We have to perform one activity. We have to take the small crystals of copper sulfate. It is given in your textbook. This experiment is given to explain about the water of crystallization. In our one test tube, we have to take the copper sulfate crystals and we have to heat it. We will see that is the water droplets are formed near the test tube, near the mouth of the test tube. So what is the source of that water droplet? So water droplets, from where that water droplets we get it?
From the crystal.
From the crystal. So that is the water already present in that crystals. So you can see here. So we have started heating. Initially, it has started heating the copper sulfate crystals, blue color copper sulfate crystals. When we start heating, we will see that the color changes to white. So that happens because the water moves out. So that water when moves out near the mouth of the test tube, so that water condenses and we are able to see the water droplets near the mouth of the test tube. So that means that water come from the crystal. So inside the crystal water was present. When we heat it, that water molecules moves out and condense near the mouth of test tube. So these water molecules which are responsible for conversion into crystal form is called as water of crystallization. And the this one, proper definition of water of crystallization is, you have to write this one, that is also a 3 mark question asked on this heating of copper sulfate part. Water of crystallization is fixed number of water molecules, fixed number of water molecules present in one formula unit of a salt, hydrated salt. Is called water of crystallization. So fixed number of water molecules present in one formula unit of a hydrated salt is called as water of crystallization. This formula, this definition you have to remember. Question is asked, what is water of crystallization? And some combination question on the copper sulfate part it is asked. So when we heat blue color copper sulfate, so first write down water of crystallization. Definition of water of crystallization. When we heat copper, sorry, completed?
Yes,
The next line, write down about the copper sulfate, that reaction, write down. Copper sulfate dot 5H2O when heated gives out copper sulfate plus 5H2O. Is actually the, when we heat the blue color copper sulfate, it forms colorless copper sulfate, but it is in textbook, NCERT textbook, they have used the word as white, so we have to write white. Next slide, write down. When we heat copper sulfate, water in the form of water of crystallization, water in the form of water of crystallization evaporates out,
Mama, can you repeat?
when we heat copper sulfate, water in the form of water of crystallization evaporates out, blue color crystals convert into white color, blue color crystals convert into white color anhydrous copper sulfate, white colored anhydrous copper sulfate, and
White color.
anhydrous copper sulfate, anhydrous copper sulfate, and water condense near the, and water condense near the mouth of test tube, near the mouth of test tube. Thus we are able to see water droplets. Yes, we are able to see water droplets. NCFE students, when you write white color, this one, no? So in bracket, write down colorless also. There is a much more fight last year happened because of colorless and white part.
Hence we are able to see
Water droplets near the mouth of the test tube. Clear? Done this part? Have you completed?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So we'll take the remaining, that's washing soda, and one more plaster of Paris we have to see. They will take 10 to 15 minutes. Tomorrow we'll complete that. So then the chapter will be done. Okay. So start maths now.
Thank you, ma'am.
Is it clear till this